Galatians chapter 1 verse 11 through 24. For I would have you know, brothers, that the gospel that was preached by me is not man's gospel. For I did not receive it from any man, nor was I taught it, but I received it through a revelation of Jesus Christ. For you had heard of my former life in Judaism, how I persecuted the church of God violently and tried to destroy it. And I was advancing in Judaism beyond many of my own age among my people. So extremely zealous was I for the traditions of my fathers. But when He, who has set me apart before I was born, and who called me by His grace, was pleased to reveal His Son to me, in order that I might preach Him among the Gentiles, I did not immediately consult with anyone, nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles before me, but I went away into Arabia and returned again to Damascus. Then after 3 years I went up to Jerusalem to visit Cephas and remained with him 15 days. But I saw none of the other apostles except James, the Lord's brother. In what I am writing to you, before God, I do not lie. Then I went into the regions of Syria and Cilicia, and I was still unknown in the person to the churches of Judea that are in Christ. They only were hearing it said, He who used to persecute us is now preaching the faith he once tried to destroy, and they glorify God because of me. The gospel of Jesus Christ has the power to transform anyone who comes to encounter and accept the message. Apostle Paul was such a person. Formerly, he was a devout and zealous of the law as the Judaizers, if not more. This was a shameful past for Paul, since people have heard of Paul's persecution against the Christians. But by the gospel of Jesus Christ, Paul came to the saving faith of Jesus Christ through grace and grace alone. Paul was transformed and changed to a follower of Jesus. When people saw this drastic change, they praised God. Paul knew just how foolish it is to try and enforce the old ways, since he was the one in the lead persecuting other Christians before he had met Christ. Because his past was such a shameful past for him, the whole matter of enforcing the law upon the believers must have come to him in a more personal matter. Paul writes often about the law of circumcision in various letters, and each time he is firm that it is not by our own actions, but by the grace of Jesus Christ. This is because Paul is the one who has received such tremendous grace from God, despite his shameful past of persecuting his believers. We all have our stories to share. We all have a past that we would like to hide. Some are shameful and some are hurtful, but we can find peace and joy knowing that God takes even our dark past and uses them for His glory. Joseph had his hurtful past. He was sold as a slave by his brothers. Even though it may have left him a lifetime worth of pain and scar, he realized that God had used his painful past as a catalyst to bring salvation upon his family. Genesis chapter 45 verse 7 and 8 says, And God sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant on earth, and to keep alive for you many survivors. So it was not you who sent me here, but God. He has made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and ruler over all the people of Egypt. I am realizing more and more of how God is working in my life to do His will. Even the darkness of my past is being used to advance the gospel, not because I have the power to do so, but because God is the one who can and who does. Romans 8:28 says, And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose. I believe God is working in our lives today, even though it may not seem like it at times. We can find peace knowing that He is going to make all things work for His will. May God give you renewed strength today as we are reminded of His goodness in our lives.